Hey everybody, welcome back to Into the Lair. It's been a second since we've had an Into the Lair, so if I'm a little rusty, you got to bear with me. But I've been trying to think of something really cool to bring you guys, and I think because of some of the information that Jay mentioned on his show, Brower on his, Phil on his, Joe, Bruce, some of the guys, I think a lot of you guys have, you wouldn't call it penis envy. I guess it'd be like audio envy, analog envy, and some of you guys are starting to feel like you're inadequate because you don't have a one of everything ever made like Michael has and Jack Joseph Puig. So what I thought I'd do today was take a little bit of that covetousness away from you and show you not the way, but a way to work that will give you the ability to formulate your own process of working. I'm not going to say this replaces anything Michael does because that's just not possible without the equipment and the brain that he has. But what you can do is if you put a little bit of effort, a little bit of time into experimenting, I think this will open up some pathways for you that you can feel comfortable about taking some of his techniques and some of the things we learned from him and applying them within the format of a Pro Tools session or a Logic session or whatever your DAW of choice is. So let's jump right in. We went over this a while back, and I'm going to require you to do a little homework. Go back and go to Michael's website and try to understand not what he's doing necessarily, but why he's doing certain things. One of the things I learned from Michael is, and I'm paraphrasing, if I got this wrong, Michael, let me know, but one of the basic foundations of what a lot of guys try to do, Manny, Tony, a lot of the greats, John Marie, Jay, is they don't try to do all the heavy lifting with a compressor at one time. So in other words, if you've got a compressor and it's across a particular source of material, you can you can whack off 20 dB, but it might be the coolest thing ever, and you might change recording history and get your own little engineering Grammy, but maybe not. So one of the concepts that a lot of these guys, if you're listening to the show, like I am, trying to learn every little morsel and every little advantage I can get from these guys, sometimes it's better to do a little bit at the source track, a little bit via an aux, and a little bit via the stereo bus. So that's kind of what I've come up with here. So let's scroll down to my drums. Okay, here's a kick drum right here, this purple track right here. This was basically what I was given on this particular session. And now we can compress this, which we did. We put a little 1176 on this. Just kind of controlling it a little bit. And then you can see here I've added a couple of samples to the, I've added this sample here to the kick. This is just our old buddy Trigger by Steven. And then this was given to me by the producer, this is a sub. And then I'm taking a piece of these two guys and I'm sending it to a parallel chain. So you'll see that pop up here. In this parallel chain, we're doing a little more of the compression, a little more heavy lifting. I must have had a good idea for that, but I can't remember what it was. Okay, so now we've got our compression. So now what we're doing similar things with the snares and all on and on and on. So now let's go back up here. if I'm making you dizzy with all this moving around. So now we've got 4 auxes. We've got an aux that's receiving all of our vocals. We've got an aux that's receiving all of our drums, all of our music. And this one changes for me from session to session. This particular session, I wanted to have global control over the amount of effects, just so I could hear it drier, wetter. But this can be anything. You can split your live guitars, your rock guitars here, and your synths here. What's that, Dave? What did you do with the bass? Well, the bass I sometimes put with the drums if I want a certain influence of the compressors to receive from the bass. In this particular song, I put the bass into the music. Now, if you notice, I'm getting a little dirt right here. Don't anybody panic. It's okay. I'm a professional. I like a little dirt, so that's coming from some of the noise from the plugins, but it's so low, it's okay. I actually kind of like it. So if you have any criticisms about this, address your letters to Will at thisweekend.com. He'll defend me. Now, at this point in time, everything's coming into here. Okay. Now, all of these are dumping out to my print track. Now, what I call my print track is a master fader that allows me to have access to the 48-bit architecture. We've gone over this before. There's some good reading on the Pro Tools website about this. Now, I'm also running all this information into an aux. I don't want to put any plugins on my master fader, nor do I want to put them on my print track. I'll monitor something on the print track. I was just checking to see some stuff. But now I've got my L2 here. Let's disregard the L2 for now. So now all our drums are coming into our drum aux right here. Let's bypass this L2007. Okay, now with this, I'm knocking off, looks like, if I'm reading this accurately, Will, it looks like 2.75314 dB, which I always like to use a ratio of pi when I'm doing decimals. We'll go into that later. Without. Okay? Now, the parallel compression on the kick and snare are adding a little tiny bit of compression. The L2007 is adding a little bit of compression. Now, all of these are dumping into the stereo bus, and then you can see I'm doing 3 dB on the L2. Let's see what that adds. Okay? Let's see if I can do an AB quick enough. Let me get these guys close enough so I can hit the buttons quick. Okay. Oh, I didn't do it fast enough. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, without. It's significant. I'm not going to say that that's night and day, but when you're competing against a lot of other stuff on the radio, that could be enough to give you an advantage. And I'm not whacking the piss out of it. I mean, this is just gentle kind of stuff. So, okay, with. Okay. Now, on the music side, what I'm doing, there's my bass. Let me move these so you can see. And then I'm just using a compressor. I love the Waves SSL stereo bus compressor. I love, there's any number of compressors that really work well. here again, I chose the Massey for this because I was just want to see what it would do, and I got lazy and didn't take it off. I really like it. I'm not sure you'll hear anything here. Well, it's just one guitar. Let me go back. Very subtle, very subtle. It's basically just, think of it as we're trying to make the L2 have to do a little bit less work. So now let's bring everybody in. I'm not sure if we're going to hear much, but let's try. Let's take all these off real fast. You kind of hear that, can't you, Will? Even at the volume we're listening to now. Very cool. Let me go back. Okay. Okay, when you go back and play this back, and you might want to play it back, listen for the sound of the snare changing, listen to the decay on different instruments changing, listen to the rhythm changing, the feel, the vibe. Don't just listen for compression. Train your ear to listen for what the compression is doing, because we're not selling compression, we're selling feelings and emotions. If the compressors that we're using allow you to enhance the feeling and emotion of the song, then that's what we're selling. We're trying to give our listener 3.5 minutes of escape from remembering all the horrors of this world. So a little bite at a time, a little bit at the source. We take off a little bit. We threw a compressor across the kick and the snare. Then we parallel compress those, which we've gone over on another show. If you guys are unclear about parallel compression, let me know, and we'll do a feature on that. So we take a little bite off at the source, the kick and the snare mainly, and the bass on the music track. Then we have made a decision to control the influence that the bass has on the compression that we're using on the drums. So we can't send everything straight to the stereo bus L2. We intercepted it along the way. We split the bass, the music from the drums. We did a little bit of treatment on the drums, a little bit of separate treatment on the bass. So every time our bass is hitting, our kick drum doesn't go down in volume. The kick drum's controlling its own destiny in the mix. And then we take those 4 pieces of information, these 4 guys here, the red ones, we dump those into a master fader, which the reason we do that is because the 48-bit architecture output of that master fader gives us enough headroom to handle all this information without clogging down or choking down or losing headroom. An analog console like the ones we use probably has 28 dB of headroom. I want you guys to do your research and find out what adding this 48-bit master fader, how much extra headroom do I get over the old 24-bit. It's gonna freak you out. It's gonna be a neat thing for you to discover. And then, of course, after that, we let the L2 do what it does best. Instead of brute forcing all this stuff together and being influenced by all these different low-end pieces of information, we can select what the L2 is making its decisions about. I know I'm getting a little flowery with this speech, but I'm trying to show you the logic behind this concept, because I know there's 1,000 of you guys out there way smarter than me, and you can come up with something and show me next week. All right, back to you, Dave.